And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game called Estoril 1942. Now this game in Portuguese has spies on the cover, and I actually think that, I'll start out by saying here, that the name I think is a little, I don't think it does it for the game. Yes, I know this game is based on some historical locations where spies happen and stuff, but it just kind of doesn't make you want to play the game, I think, as much as like spy versus spy. Because that's kind of what the game is. The game is about you having spies and controlling different locations. I'll show you. In each round of the game, you're going to put out locations. Now, the 8 location boards come with the game. You're going to put out 6 each round. So you just randomly grab 6 of the 8 locations, and you're going to put them in a 2x3 grid like this, randomly, and in random orientations. Now, I have most of them facing the camera so you can see them, which is still random. But, like you can see, this one here is turned sideways, but they could be all different directions, and it doesn't matter. On each board, there is a prize area, and in that prize area you're going to place a card from a pile, the tiles actually rather than cards. Some of them are face up, but if they have the word top secret on them, then they're face down. So you can see 4 of these are face up and 2 are face down. Each player is going to start the game with 6 spies that they all have a color icon of your type in the top hand corner. Each one of these spies is worth a certain number of victory points at the end of the game. They each have a different nationality. You'll see Portugal, US, Great Britain, Germany. Some of them have special abilities also. And then she also has a female icon, which matters for just an endgame goal. Speaking of that, you're going to have some endgame goals that are placed here at the top of the board. These you're trying to have the most of at the end of the game. They'll be different every game. So I want to have the most German, Great Britain. I want to have the most people with seduction symbols and the most people with conspiracy symbols. Now, players are going to be, each round of the game, in turn order, placing out spies on the board. When you place a spy, you can put them in any spot that's on the outside of the board. So I can put one here. I would put one of my cubes on it to show that it's mine. Usually they're placed face down, although there's one board that has some spots where you would place them face up so people can see what they are. The number of spies you're going to place out depends on how many players are in the game. So in a 4-player game, you put out 3 each round. In a 3-player game, 4, and a 2-player game, 6. So not every spot will be taken. You can only go on the outside spot on the board. To go to an inside spot, you need to already have one on an outside spot that it's adjacent to, and then you can go inside. Some of the spots on the board, when you go on them, have symbols on them. So for example, this one here, when I go to the number 2 spot, I can look at anyone's card that they've put on this board. When I go to the 3 spot here, I can look at anyone's card on this board or one of the adjacent boards. And in fact, over here, in this spot here, if I go here, I can look at anyone's card on the whole board. So I can look at some people's face down cards. That can also include the face down top secret cards. So I can see what those are. Once everyone has placed things down, then each board is going to be handled. You'll start with board 1, then board 2, etc. So let's say we're looking at board 2. And yellow, green, and red all have someone here. So green flips his over. We all flip them over. And the highest strength is going to win the top secret card that's there. So in this case, it's this player here. It has a 2 strength. However, each person has special abilities, and the special abilities go off in numeric order. So the 1 special ability here will go off first, then the 2, then the 3. Now this 1 special ability lets him place a white cube on himself or someone on an adjacent board, and that protects him from assassination and seduction attempts. This guy has no special ability. He has a conspiracy special ability, which lets him draw the top card from the secret ability deck, look at it, look at this one, and say, okay, you know what, we'll put this guy here, and then replace it. You'll also notice that at this location has a special thing where British cards are +1 strength, but none of these people are British. So this is he wins the card and adds this card to his hand, which you can see is a pretty good card. It's worth 3 victory points, and it's a 2 strength with this the conspiracy symbol on it. So you got to be, trying to have that. If there's a tie, whoever's in the lower number is going to win the tie. So placing in the lower numbers will not only make your abilities go off first, but also break ties. But the disadvantage is when you go to the second and third spots, you will be able to see cards of other players as you place them down. Other special abilities are the seduction special ability that you can see that she has. When you use a seduction ability, any player who's in an adjacent location, if there's an empty spot, you can pull them in. And you can pull in anybody from a location that's already been scored, a location that has yet to be scored. When that person's pulled in, their special ability no longer counts, only their strength does. And you can pull in someone from the other team or somebody from your team now. Here's another special ability, nationality. That simply means you get +1 strength for each other person that's in that area who is also of your nationality. You'll notice that people will have different combinations of symbols. This guy here has a assassination. You simply kill someone in your area. They go back to their opponent's hand. They're not dead, but you can get rid of somebody else. Sometimes, like I said, people have a combination of symbols. This guy here has the gun and he has the conspiracy. This guy has a double conspiracy. This guy here has a double gun. This guy here has the seduction. Here we have a guy with double flags, so he gets 2 points for each other Brazilian character. So there's going to be all sorts of characters that players are getting. At the end of a round, players will have probably more than 6 cards in their hand. At that point, they have to decide which cards they're going to keep and which ones they're going to discard. Any cards they discard are going to be worth 1 point to them at the end of the game. The cards that they keep are going to be worth the points that are shown on the bottom of these cards, which are probably worth more than 1. And at the end of the game, only the cards in their hand are going to count towards these goals. So if I want to have the most British, I'm not doing a very good job here because only 1 of my cards, well, I only have 5 cards. Woo! Now I got 2, and they're both British. So you got to consider the end game bonuses when you discard cards and keep cards. And also you want to keep cards in your hand that are good. Like I definitely want to keep this guy. He's a 5 strength, no special abilities. That's great. But at the end, I might discard him on the very last turn because he's only worth 1 victory point. After a certain number of turns, the game is over. Like I said, each card in your discard pile is worth 1 victory point. You'll add up the victory points for the cards in your hand, and then you see who wins these end game bonuses, and whoever has most points is the winner. Between each round, you'll shuffle the boards again and put them out in a new layout. You'll add new top secret things that people can win and or get, and that's how the game's played. I'm always excited when I find a game that just really blows me away and just how cool it is, and this is one of those games. I really enjoyed many factors of this game. I enjoyed the area control as you put spies out, but just the interplay between the spies. When you go to a location, you're like, all right, I'm going to put a gun at this location because I'm going to be able to take someone else out, and then I think I'll win that location. And right before you do, someone from an adjacent location uses the seduction and pulls your gun character away. You're like, ah! Or, you're in a location, you're like, yes, okay, I see that I know I put 1 British person here. I'm going to put this person here. They have nationality, so they're going to even be more bonus points. And then someone pulls them away. That seduction skill, pulling people away, will change this game up. And then there's the special abilities at each location. Looking at people's cards, you're going to win a location. Someone switches it out for a card that you did not want. The artwork is good. It has a little bit of a cartoony flair to it, but it's not too silly. The quality, I like, they say like, the game keeps calling them cards, but they're really tiles, and that's nice. They're thin enough that you can shuffle them a little bit, but you're not really shuffling. You're just putting cards down in different locations. Each location has the special abilities, which we occasionally would forget. We're like, oh, that's right. At that location, the Germans get +1, or at that location, this happens. There's a couple locations that are really wonky. One is the casino. At the end of the round, you'll roll 2 dice. The difference between the numbers you roll is added to each spy. So there, when you put a spy there, you're kind of like, oh, I hope I win this one, because there might be numbers added. And so you can even throw a 1 there and hope you win. Another location that if you don't win it, you can lose one of your spies there permanently from the game. So you're like, all right, I'll go there, but I better win that location. A lot of back and forth, a lot of laughter as cards are revealed. Like, oh, you put the double gun, he killed 2 people. the conspiracy, just the different combinations of how the cards work. Very enjoyable. It works well with all three number of players, with 2, 3, and 4, although I think I like it best with 2 is okay, but the interplay is not as hilarious. Sometimes, like, I'm about to shoot you, but then you seduce me and now I'm over here. I found that worked better in the 3 to 4 player game, but still something very neat. Very impressive game. I think, again, it might be hindered by the name. There's probably people who aren't watching this review simply because of the name of the game. But don't let that deter you. It is a lot of fun. I've heard rumors that we might see this one coming to the United States at some point, which would be great. But as it is, I really enjoyed playing Estoril 1942. Dice Tower Judgment. Excellent!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!